WV Uncommon Place. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts. Along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episodes. The Uncommon Place digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacey and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to our Uncommon Place.
Welcome to West Virginia Uncommon Place. We are going over the top 10 video games of all time with me, and number 3 on my list is a Nintendo 64 game. It's a me, Mario, Super Mario 64. Now, Super Mario 64 came out in 1996. It is the first Super Mario to feature 3D gameplay. It's the first platforming game that's 3D that gets it right. There was Crash Bandicoot, all kinds of other stuff that was coming out around this time, but we're just talking about open world or kind of like sandbox type style play. Super Mario 64 gave me more gaming skill than most games because it worked on my timing, just about every little skill that you need to have inside video gaming. I got this from this game. Collecting all the power stars. That was one major thing. I think it was 120 stars, something like that. And the main goal of seeing Yoshi at the end of the game kind of bothered me we didn't get to play with him, but oh well. Just the whole idea of running around the castle to fight Bowser to rescue Princess Peach, going through and literally getting all the stars, completing that game. This was the first game I had ever completed 100% to a T. Like, I can go back and say, that's why I don't even pick up Super Mario 64 like that very often. Now, I do have it part of the Super Mario All-Stars collection on the Nintendo Switch, but just the different ways that Mario could jump around, the movement, the fighting, basically, it revolutionized 3D gaming. And from that point on, I can honestly say I spent countless hours playing it on the 64. And years later, like I said, once I got it out here on the Switch, I played through, probably got like the first 20 stars, and then I stopped playing because I realized that, hey, man, you did this a long time ago. Are you really going to do this again? And to myself, I decided that I wasn't going to do it again. But just like the way that they designed how to switch the camera around, doing that whole 360 degree analog turn and everything else, being able to work that camera the way it did, it set me up for all the mechanics that I would need for later on 3D games. And just the music, like every part of the game, even to this day, holds up strong and true. And the reason that this is not one of my top games is because here's my problem with Super Mario 64. And I don't know how many people agree with this, but they may agree or disagree with this. Ever since Super Mario 64 came out, I've always been chasing that same Super Mario 64 high. I don't care about the galaxies, Sunshine, any of that other stuff, or even Odyssey, or even the new Wonder that came out. I have never been able to catch the type of aura or the feeling that I got from Super Mario 64 that I got from it. Like, I've never been able to get that feeling again. No other game has moved me like that. And that's why it stays where it's at, because I'm always chasing this high, trying to get this type of gameplay again. That type of feeling that I got back in 96 when I was eager and ready and just the world was in my hands and I really wanted to play this really bad. So we move on in life. I did play it on the DS in 2004 with the cool thing about that was they added in extra characters, Wario, Luigi, and different stuff like that. So it made that one a little bit different. So if you do want to own a copy of this, I would suggest getting Super Mario 64 DS if you can get your hands on it. But other than that, that's going to be it for my number 3. Super Mario 64, self-explanatory. If you haven't played it, it's something that you should play. And if you don't get to play it, at least look at the gameplay of it, because it is considered to be one of the greatest, or the greatest game of all time. But on that note, I am JR from West Virginia Uncommon Place. Please like and subscribe. Thank you all for following. Thank you all for continuing support of the top 10 video games of all time, in my opinion. And on that note, I am out of here.
Please follow WV Uncommon Place on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at oncommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening, and tune into the next episode.